Hello, all of you amazing trailblazers out there. I'm Kristen Kramer with Bold Moves Boss. And, this is kind of nerve wracking for me. I'm really debated on whether to do a post or not, but I owe you an apology. And this is me apologizing to you because I have really struggled over the last, 2 months at least. And the struggle's been just sort of trying to figure out, like, where do I fit in? Where do I fit into this sort of new landscape that I find myself in? How can I learn from some of the missteps that I have experienced over the last couple of years? I'm a high achiever, and so when things don't come together very easily, I internalize that. I feel like it's, me, it's my fault. And if you've been paying attention to anything that I put out there, you also know that I'm a big proponent of having a mentality of success or failure, own it, right? Like, no one's coming to save you. So at least if you own your success and you own your failures, and let me be clear, by failure, I mean learning opportunities, okay? Nudges to move you in a different direction to help you expand and evolve. But no one's coming to save you. So at least if you take ownership of the experiences that you're having and what's happening or not happening, then you can change it, right? So in owning it, you're empowering yourself. And trust me, after the last 8 weeks that I've had, it doesn't always feel very empowering. So, I don't want to get too deep in the weeds with it, but let's just say, I had to go out and make an investment in waterproof mascara and some caffeine, pads or whatever they call them, for me, because I was really having a tough time. So tough, in fact, that this almost became a good luck to everybody, I wish you the best, but I'm out post. And I struggled with that too, because I hated the idea of giving up on my dream. I hated the idea of having to admit that things weren't fantastic, that it was a bit that I was struggling. And I think probably more than anything else, I hated feeling like I had really let everyone down, especially my family and myself, because again, I'm a high achiever, I'm a high performer, and I expect a lot out of myself. Now, those qualities aren't bad. They're really good qualities. But they can create situations where you put a lot of, where you create a lot of pressure for yourself, that isn't productive. And that's sort of the space that I was operating in over the last 6 to 8 weeks. So when I get stressed like that, I have a tendency to retreat. I don't want to pee in anybody's Cheerios. I don't want to be a Debbie Downer or, bring everybody down. I certainly don't want to use social media as my personal diary, to air out all my laundry and whatnot, so I don't see social media in that way. And I'm a private person. So that left me grappling quite a bit in solitude. And look, I had plenty of people that wanted to help, that offered to help. But at the end of the day, I knew the only person that was going to be able to kind of pull me out of it and help me get my emotional shit together was me. I had to do it. Nobody else could do it for me. I had to figure it out, and I had to do it. And so here I am today, apologizing for ghosting everybody for a period of time, because I did sort of drop off the face of the planet, and that does not help your business, right? Like, you're building the momentum, you're getting some traction, and then all of a sudden, like, you get abducted by aliens and nobody, sees hide nor hair of you for, weeks at a time or months at a time. So obviously, getting back in the saddle, getting back into a routine of doing regular posts, getting back into a routine of having productive conversations with people. It's a work in progress. But through this, there is one thing that became extraordinarily apparent to me, like crystal clear. I'm in a lot of networking groups. I have a lot of conversations with people throughout a week, any given week. And my goal is always to uplift and empower others and help them frame their own struggles in a different way so that they can, move through them and come out on the other end of it faster and in a productive way. And there's a lot of pressure, right? When you are an entrepreneur and you go into networking groups or different organizations that you belong to, and the focus, of course, is to network and empower each other and support each other and, all of those things. And so the last thing you want to do, really, at least in my mind, this is the way my brain works, is go into a network event and, completely fall apart. That's not to say that I don't understand vulnerability, and that in some instances, like right now, this is me being vulnerable. Okay. If you're not clear on that, sometimes there's a time and place for vulnerability, right? And in a lot of the group coaching programs that I've been in over the last couple of years, whenever I, was struggling with a question or I didn't quite get something, their answer was always, well, just go post the question into the Facebook group and then everybody can, chime in and we learn from each other. That is a great theory. That's a great theory. But if the group program you're in, let's try to get that out. If the group coaching program that you are in potentially has either people that may do business with you down the road, or people who may refer business to you down the road, then that's probably not a great place for you to admit you can't find your way out of a paper bag today, right? Because vulnerability is great, and I'm not saying we shouldn't be human beings and authentic and, the hashtag the struggle is real, because it is. But let's face it, when you're doing business with somebody, and especially if you're entrusting your business with them, right? Like you're handing your business to them and saying, do your magic. You want somebody that's competent and confident in their ability to do for you what they say they can do. And the proof is in the pudding, right? So the logical Next thought is that they successfully execute the advice they're giving you in their own business, right? So where do you go when you're having a really shitty week and you just need to vent? Where do you go? Where's a safe place that as an entrepreneur you can go, just get it out of your system, blow your stack, and not have to worry that you're going to be judged for it or that it's going to negatively impact your ability to do business with people. You know, sometimes you just really need to vent and get it out of your system. And again, there's a lot of pressure, and understandably so, because I mean, we don't want everything to just be a cesspool of negativity. That's not going to help. But it also doesn't help to go into an interaction and for people just to say, you know, you just got to flip that mindset. You just got to flip that mindset. Sometimes you really do just need to get it out of your system, vent, bitch about it, whatever, in a space where other people can peel you off the ceiling. Because, you know, maybe you're at your wit's end and frustrated over something. And it could be something like, I've been trying to build these automations all week and this stuff still isn't working. That could be it. It could just be something like that. It could be, you know, my board of directors are making me crazy. Like if I'm answering emails all day and they are texting me incessantly, how am I supposed to get anything else done? Because all I do is spend time answering them. And you know, that's not good to internalize all those things, because eventually what will happen is, depending on how you are as a person, but for most people, what happens is you keep it all bottled up and then you completely go off the rails at a very inappropriate time in a very inappropriate way, because you just cannot take one more problem to deal with. You're way past tilt. So obviously having a way to get back to equilibrium, reset yourself before you get past tilt is really important. So I've been thinking about that a lot. And now, don't get me wrong, I've had plenty of team meetings over the years where if you're not careful, things can just turn into a giant bitch fest. And, you know, that's not always productive either. But I've also found that in the moments where I've been in a place or talking to somebody, a peer, that I trust, and I'm venting about something, and they get what I'm talking about because they've been there before. So they've experienced it. They understand what I'm going through. That sometimes I come out on the other end of it, you know, laughing about it, or they've helped me sort of reframe it. Okay. So I've talked to several people this week and I've asked this question. Like, when you're having a really bad day or you're really frustrated with something, where do you go to get that out of your system and vent about it and get, you know, support, and just having people who understand what you're dealing with that you can vent to without risking ruining potential business relationship in the future or looking like a complete emotional train wreck or being judged that way. And the answer's been the same. They're like, well, I really don't. Your friends and family, I mean, they're kind of like the go-to, right? Your friends and family, and God love them. I mean, they try so hard and they really want to understand, but here's the thing of it. If they've never built a business, they probably don't really understand why you're so frustrated or where you're stuck. And yeah, a coach is a great support mechanism to help you work through these problems. But I'm not talking about like when you need like coaching, like I really don't know how to fix this thing. I'm talking about a trusted peer group where you can go in if you need to, vent about whatever you need to vent about. And if somebody's got a suggestion, great. And if you don't want to hear any suggestions, just say, I just need to get this out of my system. Please don't give me any advice. Right. And then we all try really, really hard not to give you advice, because also as entrepreneurs, we want to help. So sometimes it's hard for us to not give advice, but we can do our best. And I think I'm onto something here, because it was very lonely going through the last 8 weeks. And again, not because there weren't people that I could turn to for help, not because, I don't have other business owners that I'm friends with, but the business owners that I'm friends with, I also, sometimes they're clients of mine, sometimes they're referring clients to me. And it's a very fine line that you're walking in these scenarios. So I think it makes a lot of sense to have, I know some folks call them trusted advisory groups or tags. I would almost say that these are, maybe like a trusted advisory group, but, periodically or once a week, you have a place where you can unload, your frustrations. And again, in a safe environment. And that's where making sure that you're in a group with peers. So people that are on a level playing field with you, that aren't, as Jay Fazette says, upstream or downstream of you, but they're truly peers. That's where that becomes so important. So, if you're curious about this and you are like, it would be really helpful for me to be able to just kind of vent in a safe space like that and not feel bad about it, because I feel like, I'm bringing everybody in the group down, right? Or not feel like I'm, going to look inept, or like I have no emotional control or unprofessional or whatever, then, opt into my list, because I'm curious, and I'm kind of curious to run a bit of a social experiment, if you will, to see if this theory is correct. Because again, I was not in a good place over the last 8 weeks. I'm really frustrated, very burned out, able to, do the work that I do with my clients, but still, felt very alone and very isolated. And I don't think I'm the only one that experiences that. Or maybe I am. I could be wrong. So anyway, there's my theory. And I am sorry about ghosting everybody. All I can say is that I'm doing the best I can. And, even though it sounds really attractive to go just look for a regular job, I know that's not for me. I did that for a long time before I started my business. And I love being an entrepreneur, and I love working with other entrepreneurs and helping them bring their vision to life. And it's soul crushing to even think about throwing in the towel and giving it up. And so I don't want to do that. So if I ghosted you, I really am sorry. And I hope that you can offer me a little bit of grace, not a lot, just a smidge of grace as I sort of kind of get back into the swing of things and, redirect myself towards my own North Star and get back to just doing things my way. But that conversation is for a different time. All right. I really appreciate it. If you stuck it out with me this long, thank you. Thank you for listening. And I would love to hear your thoughts about this idea. I would love to hear if this is something that you found to be true, or maybe you find that it's not true. Maybe you're just being paranoid and you've got the spotlight syndrome, Kristen. That's not a thing. And if that's what you think, I want to hear that too. And it would be super helpful if you would also explain why. So versus you're crazy. That's not a real thing. But I am looking forward to engaging with all of you on a more regular basis as we move through this year, designing some new programs. Programs, because I don't really actually launch any programs, or not very many programs per se last year. So launching some programs, getting back into the saddle and swing of things. And again, thank you so much for joining me and sticking with me through this entire video broadcast. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what you guys create this year and supporting you in bringing your vision into the real world and breathing life into it. So until next time, go out there and make some bold moves, do it, set your soul on fire, and show up in the bold, powerful way that you show up in the world. It's in there. If you think it's not, it is in there. And go out there and, make this world a better place. So I'll catch you on the flip side of this. And again, Kristen Kramer, Bold Moves Boss. And, keep your eyes open, because there's lots of other things that I have to announce, lots of changes. So I will talk to you guys later. Have a fantastic week. And there's probably going to be a Friday post for Chuck It in the Bucket too. So I know you guys always snicker behind your hands whenever you hear the title. I get it. But I'll be bringing that back as well. So until then, thanks so much.